need a monitor. Okay, here we go. This is ThinkTech Talks here on a given Thursday. I'm Jay Fidell. Happy to be here. We're here with Tedric Abe. He's a sales account manager and a product trainer at Sony. Sony Hawaii. Am I right about that?
That's correct. Yes,
Sony Hawaii,
Jay.
one of my favorite companies ever. And we did this thing last year with a bunch of product guys from various companies, but I didn't think that Ted had enough time.
Thank you.
So this year we're going to do them separately, and we're going to give Ted more time. Okay, we're calling this show Holiday Products at Sony. I am personally most interested in your holiday products, Ted.
Thank you. Thank you, Jay.
So tell me first, what does it mean to be a sales account manager and product trainer at Sony Hawaii?
Okay, so maybe not too many people realize this, but our little office on Mapunapuna actually handles the military worldwide. So we have a team that handles the continental U.S. military, as well as what I handle, which is the overseas military accounts. So pretty much every other month, I'll visit the overseas bases, and we'll get products out into the PX stores, the exchanges, Korea, Japan, all over Europe, Guam, those countries, and what we do is we do promotions. We'll work with the buyer and introduce new products in the PXs.
Oh, the PXs have so much good stuff.
They do, and it's getting better and better. And that's part of my job. And I do have local accounts here in Hawaii as well. Mm-hmm. And I'm also a product trainer. So any of the new products that are coming out, I'll go in and do product training, both on the neighbor islands as well as Oahu, and then overseas as well.
So who do you train? Train the people who are reselling Sony, or you?
Yeah, so it's basically retail associates as well as our representatives in the stores, our field reps, if you will.
You know, I was listening to the Nutcracker earlier today, and I was thinking that when you lay your head down on the pillow, you probably hear the sounds of Sony.
Well,
sugar plum stuff.
I must say that the first, I would say, 5-6 years working at Sony was a dream come true. When I was living in Japan, I'd always pass by the Sony building on my way to work, and I just loved their products. But I was doing something completely different. I was in a computer networking company at the time, and I always thought working for a company like Sony would be great because they would always have the greatest gadgets. So when I moved to Hawaii in 2001, that's when my dreams were realized. And the first 6 years or so, I was playing with new products. I was teaching people how to use it, and it was more of a hobby to me. But as things progressed, there's a lot of back end, there's a lot of paperwork, a lot of product planning,
sure.
All that kind of stuff.
I met you shortly after 2000.
That's right.
2002 or 3, when I was doing ThinkTech on
Kaheka. Yeah, yes, that's
Kaheka Street.
Yes, I remember that.
We had you guys down every year. You and Carl Okamura.
Yes.
Come down every year and talk about your products, and I love that. And we're still doing it after all these years.
Yes, we're still here. Yep. Going well.
And by the way, we're going to go talk about the products now. But first thing I want to say is we're not going to talk about North Korea. I have my opinions about what happened in North Korea with that movie, and I'm sure Ted has his opinions, but we're not going to talk about that today. That's not the subject of our discussion. Our discussion has been planned a long time.
Yes.
It's very holiday, and we're going to talk about holiday. We're not going to talk about that. Anyway, Ted.
Yes.
So I guess I could ask you a question. I've been asking, for I don't know how many years already, 10, 12, 13. What do you got?
Oh, we always have something up our sleeves, and this year is no different. Sony has been investing a lot in the digital imaging arena, and in fact, in the mirrorless market and the mirrorless interchangeable camera market, we have #1 share in 10 countries, including the United States. The thing about mirrorless cameras is that people think.
Tell them how it
Sure.
works.
So basically, traditionally, in a DSLR camera, you have a mirror that's inside the body of the camera, and it would flip open when you expose the image through the lens onto the sensor. Instead of using film, we have sensors now. And that mirror would flip up to expose the sensor, and it would record the image.
And real quick. This is
real quick,
this
right.
is the shutter speed.
Right. But then as technology progressed, we are moving to the future of DSLR, the next generation of DSLR, which is without using a mirror at all. And all the autofocusing is all done, instead of using like a prism and using mirrors, we have both an electronic viewfinder and autofocusing sensors that will take advantage of all those, of the quick, like one of our cameras can do 11 frames per second, like the A6000. I have here with me the A7S, which is regarded as one of the most sensitive cameras on the market. It's only a 12 megapixel sensor, but it's a full frame. And it has,
really important.
that is important. And because it's just 12 megapixels with full frame, each megapixel is very large. So it's very sensitive to basically zero light. It actually has an ISO of 409,000. So this is very sensitive
that's
in
huge.
extremely dark lighting environments. It's been getting a lot of praise. It won a lot of awards. Not only just photographers, but videographers are using this. It does record in 4K onto an outboard.
4K, wow.
Yes, and it's a full 4K without bending or binding the compressing the data. So it's a full straight output.
Yeah. Some questions?
Sure.
So if you're not using a mirror, how do you get the light on the sensor? What is
You still have a shutter that opens up, right, to expose.
But it's direct.
Right,
Okay.
right. It's direct onto the sensor, right. The reason why DSLRs traditionally used a mirror inside was so that you can look through the optical viewfinder and focus in, because what they were using was through the lens, right? Anything that was going through the lens would be reflected off a mirror onto the prism, pentaprism, to the optical viewfinder. And that's how you would look at your subject and focus. But as soon as you press the button, the mirror would flip up and it would expose the light, right, and the subject onto the sensor. Before it used to be on film, right, on SLRs. But now we're talking about digital SLRs, so it would be exposed on the sensor and everything would be recorded on a memory card.
Okay, so when you look in the finder now, what are you seeing? I mean, how does the light get to the finder?
So it's all electronics. There's all sensors inside, and it's communicated. It splits the image directly from the LCD screen or to the electronic viewfinder. What's great or advantageous of using an electronic viewfinder is that you get pretty much the same information as you would on an LCD screen. So you got your exposure values, right? And whenever you look at the subject, it's instant. And whatever you see through it, you could take the exact same picture.
Wow.
You see a lot of photographers that would look down to see if they got the right amount of exposure, and then go back and look through the eyepiece and
now
take
you
pictures.
can see it without
Right,
putting it down.
exactly. And you can actually adjust everything on the fly as you're looking through the electronic viewfinder. So that's what makes it convenient. Also, the size, as you can see here, this is the world's, or one of the world's smallest full frame cameras on the market. And with an articulating screen, so you can take low angle shots, as well as over the head shots.
Wow.
So it's very versatile. We have a number of full frame lenses on this E-mount system that takes advantage of the sensor and the size. A number of Carl Zeiss lenses, which are extremely, very excellent lenses out in the market. And we use Carl Zeiss as well as our G lens. And it's just incredibly sensitive to low light situations.
Okay, I have questions.
Sure.
Okay. Ordinarily, photographers do not close one eye. Okay. Now, with having all the information show on the screen and keeping both eyes open, but only one eye is looking through the viewfinder, you can see all that information.
Yes, correct. Correct.
That's powerful
Yes.
stuff. And of course, you can adjust it for your own vision.
There's a diopter adjustment on the eyepiece as well, so you can adjust it to your eyesight. Yes.
Okay, what kind of chips does it have?
So it takes both memory stick dual cards as well as SD cards as well. So it can take both types of cards.
But with if you're shooting in 4K, you don't get all that many shots as you would if you were shooting in a smaller format.
So basically with 4K, it has to be recorded on an outboard. For this particular camera, it has to be recorded on a separate 4K video recorder.
Okay.
But it does have the
which
capability.
attaches with the cable.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Well, that raises a whole new issue, and that is, can I see that?
Sure.
I mean, I promise to only touch it for a moment. this is really small.
Yes.
And light.
And a lot of people are actually migrating to this type of camera, this mirrorless camera. And what's great about it is there's been a lot of support from third-party manufacturers that build adapters to this. So, excuse me if I will. This E-mount system that Sony developed.
All you had to do is turn it, huh?
Yeah, and you can actually add third-party lenses so that if you are a Canon user, Nikon user, you can actually use that adapter, that third-party adapter, and then mount your own lenses on it and take advantage of it.
Including those really big lenses.
Exactly, right.
So, and of course it has a hole for the tripod and
Yes,
all that.
right.
And let's see, I wanted to ask you, what is this lens? This is a...
Oh, so that should be the
It's
35 millimeter Carl Zeiss.
35.
Yeah.
But
F2.8.
you can get the other, either the Zeiss lens or the
yes.
G lens.
Right,
You can get
right.
any size.
Yes, and it'll even work on the A-mount lenses as well. So Sony, when they developed our DSL line, we actually had an A-mount system, which was more for the bigger traditional DSLR cameras, and it had a bigger mount, so it had a full frame. And then we had our E-mount system, and that was when we first came out with the NEX series. It was an APS-C size sensor, so it wasn't the size of a full frame; it's smaller, but still bigger than the Micro Four Thirds format. And now we introduced our A7 series, which is a full frame sensor but uses an E-mount system. And we do make, internally we make an adapter that will accommodate both A-mount lenses.
You know, you're looking at this show through Sony. I mean, all our cameras, we have a number of
Yes, I
cameras
know.
in the studio. They're all Sony cameras.
Thank you very much.
Well, you've been very helpful to me over the
And
years.
we are the largest manufacturer of sensors. So we do make actually sensors for other companies as well. And
So-
even on smartphones.
Oh, yeah?
Yes,
Oh.
yes. I won't mention any names, but we do.
You're there.
Yes.
So now, the thing about this, you know, first of all, let me preface by saying, you know, that the modern approach is the DSLR rather than the camcorder for lots, not all circumstances. Not, for example, studio circumstances like this, although you could. But for a lot of on-location circumstances, you would use a DSLR. And I take it, correct me if I'm wrong, is that this is Sony's top DSLR. This is it right here.
You could say the 7S, well, we have actually 3 models in the 7 series. We have a A7R, which is a 36 megapixel full frame sensor. We have the A7, which is a 24 megapixel. And then we just introduced this one a few months ago, and this is the A7S, and S stands for sensitivity. It's only 12 megapixels, like I said before, but it's very sensitive to low light.
Yeah, okay.
So
now, and with that recorder, the 4K recorder, I can see the thing about, if you didn't know this, and Ted can correct me if I'm wrong, the thing about a DSLR is you get the best that the DSLR can give you on every single frame, every single
correct,
frame.
correct.
So the result is a movie that is perfectly focused,
Right.
perfect color, you know, it's as good as it gets, every single frame. And these other cameras don't think that way.
right.
So the DSLR is really the instrument of the future in terms of, and especially 4K, which is a large size. So with this camera,
yes.
and that recorder,
Yes.
you can do a real movie. I mean, a real movie.
So the engineers actually really thought this through because they put a silent shutter built inside this camera. So you don't want any mechanical noise as you're recording video. So there is a mode where you can actually put it to silent mode. So whether you're taking stills or you're pressing record and stop, it's all silent. So you can actually just focus in on your video as well as your outboard microphones. It does have built-in microphones here, but you do have the option of using external mics.
Oh, okay. You want to talk about sound. So the reason to
Yeah.
make the shutter silent is for that reason.
Correct.
Some of the earlier DSLRs that took sound, they'd be hearing the shutter and you would hear it in your movie. That
Actually,
wasn't
some of the
so
early
good.
ones actually didn't record sound at all. They had to
Yeah.
mix it in the post-processing.
Yeah. So this will not give you shutter sound.
Right.
This will let you record with the internal mic, and this will let you put a sort of sound device on it where you can take XLR plugs.
Correct, correct.
And where does it go?
So there's a multi-interface shoe right here.
Oh, I haven't seen that
Slides
before. This
out,
is
and you
very-
can actually put
different types of accessories on there.
So, and then you can plug
Flashes.
XLRs.
Yes.
Put any kind of mic on that.
Correct.
That's really fabulous.
Pretty much.
So now the question is, can you listen to the sound?
Yes.
While you're
Correct.
recording?
So there's a headphone output as well, right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to add that one of the problems with the early DSLRs, sound problems, was that there was no jack where you could actually put a headset in.
Well, so because they didn't allow you to record audio in the first place.
Yeah.
So it had to be mixed in later on. But
Yeah.
yeah, some of the newer cameras out there allow you to both record video and audio. And more now are coming out with these features with both external mic inputs as well as the headphone out jack.
How big is the gizmo that gives you XLR sound?
So it's like a little box about this big
Not that
that has
big.
the XLR plugins. Yeah.
Okay, and you can also use a separate recorder, digital recorder. If you
So
think
yeah, so actually Sony does not make the actual 4K recorder. So there's actually two companies out there that do support the 4K recording
the
capability.
4K recorder you're talking about is
Yes.
both sound and video?
So basically, yes, right.
Okay,
My
who-
understanding, yes.
Who are those companies?
So one is Adamus, and they have this product called the Shogun that's supposed to be released soon. And I forgot the other name of the company that supports it as well.
Thing about this is that even with all of that, you can put it in a small bag,
Yes.
carry it around your
Right.
neck, and you have the power of Hollywood right there.
Exactly.
You can take really beautiful pictures
Right.
in the field, and the sound works without the sound of the shutter. One other question about this is that when you turn it on, it has to refocus, right? And as you sort of move with it, and which is really valuable to a light camera like that, you can move in and out, you move this way. And if you watch television these days, you'll see the camera is always moving.
Yes, correct.
So, I mean, and it makes for good video. It excites the eye somehow. It makes you more interested in the subject. But when it's moving, it's changing the focal plane, and this has got to refocus all the time. So tell us about the refocus on this.
So basically, just on top of this, we just introduced the A7 Mark II. It's 24 megapixels. It looks pretty much like this, has a slightly longer grip, but it implements our 5-axis image stabilization technology. So what it does is that actually adjusts for pitch, yaw, so 5 different axes, it actually stabilizes your images. So it's great. It gives you about 4.5 additional stops. So that is really great for both still as well as video.
Yeah, and the focus. I mean,
Yeah,
the
so the
focus is
focus-
going to be really quick.
Right,
and
it
moving.
is very, very quick, yes, right.
Okay, so let's talk American dollars for a minute. So if you had no concern about money,
Okay,
you get the top of the line, the 36 megapixel one, yeah.
you
And,
could, yes.
What would that cost?
So that would be about $2,800.
That's not too bad.
This camera, just the body alone, it doesn't have a lens kit, is about $2,000. Yeah.
Okay, and what about? Oh, okay, there was one in the middle.
Yeah, that one was the A7 is about 1,600. Yeah,
Okay,
and that comes with a lens kit. Yeah.
it sounds like this, and this is smaller than the competition, I imagine.
Yes, that is
So
correct.
this
Yeah,
is
full
really,
4-frame.
this is-
Yes.
What are the reviews like? Have you seen them?
Excellent. It's all. So what's happening right now is there's a shift in the digital realm where you could see, and I mentioned this before, how Sony's the mirrorless market for Sony is just growing, and we're number one in all these markets, not just in the United States, but in China, all over Asia and Europe, and the traditional DSLR is starting to shrink, and the mirrorless is really taking off.
Well, that's the thing, in the past, I mean, DSLR or just regular conventional photography, these good cameras, Sony was always a little smaller than the competition, as I recall. But these big ones, Nikon and Canon, they were big. I mean, I
Yes,
have a few
correct,
of them. They're
yeah.
really heavy
Yeah.
cameras. And if you want to go to Italy and take pictures, and beautiful pictures and all this,
Right.
you have to schlep this thing along. It really gets in the way.
Right.
Now, with a smaller camera like this, take beautiful pictures,
Yes,
more
image
beautiful.
quality is not compromised at all, and
Yeah.
that's why we're saying that these mirrorless cameras are the next generation of DSLR.
yeah.
Because, people don't want to lug all that equipment around.
Yeah.
They'd rather have something really lightweight, portable, easy to use, very fast.
Yeah.
Our A6000, which is a slightly smaller than this, it's not full frame, it's an APS-C size sensor, but it's the world's fastest autofocusing camera on the market. It'll autofocus in 0.06 seconds.
The refocus.
Right,
Whenever
right.
it changes.
You go
Yeah.
from short distance to long distance.
Yeah.
It'll focus in 0.06 seconds, and it'll take 11 frames per second.
How long has this been out?
So the A7S has been around for, I would say, about 3 or 4 months now. Yeah.
Perfect Christmas gift.
Yes, perfect, perfect.
Well, thank you for bringing that one down. It's a knockout. I mean, I've got it on my mental list now. And the question is whether it gets on my wife's mental
Yes,
list.
that's the key right there, right?
What else you got?
Okay, so just rounding off for the digital imaging category, I do have, and many consider this as like the world's best compact camera out there. Now, if money was no object, this is what I have here is a $799 pocket camera. So there's no interchangeable lens, but it does have a 1-inch sensor, and it does have a very fast Carl Zeiss lens in here. What's great about it is it's very durable, but yet it also has an OLED pop-up viewfinder, electronic viewfinder, and it automatically pretty much turns the device on. And as you can see here, you can use this rotating to focus in as well, and has the tilt-in screen, just like the other
Same
camera.
kind,
Yeah. Now both these cameras, a lot of our new cameras have built-in Wi-Fi, and they have NFC, so you can actually pair it with your smartphone, which if it has NFC, and
What is
basically,
NFC? Sorry.
so near-field communications.
Okay.
So
Automatic.
basically,
It's
it's
an approximate thing.
yeah, and so if you touch it, and I'll show you, I'll give you a short demonstration right now. All I have to do,
This is the part I really like, when it gets to the demonstration stuff.
now, it'll also work on iPhone phones. You need to download an app called Play Memories Mobile. So whether you have an Android phone or an Apple phone, iPhone, you'd have to download the free Play Memories Mobile app.
No big deal.
Yeah, and once you pair the two together, you see that symbol there, N,
yeah.
and the N here? Just pair the two together like
You have
this.
to touch them?
Yes, basically touch them, okay? It launches that Play Memories mobile app. Now, what this turns it into is that this is going to be your remote trigger, your viewfinder. And this camera can be placed anywhere within the distance of the phone with a Wi-Fi connection, allow you to remotely take pictures from your smartphone.
You could be way, several feet away.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Across the room.
Yes,
whatever,
right,
yeah.
right. And allows you to basically, and I'll show you, I'll leave this out here, and I'll show you basically what it looks like over here. And I can actually basically control zooming functions. I can switch from video to
Okay.
still. Yeah. So watch this. You see how the lens is moving?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Okay, and then if I'm ready, I'm going to take a picture. Let's see.
Wow.
Oh, you know what? There's no memory card in there. I forgot.
Okay.
But you can actually remotely control the functions of the camera and take the picture. Now, you know how you get family get-togethers, especially during the holiday season, and you want a group photo of everyone? And you usually have to set the timer and run back.
Yeah, it always comes out wrong
Right.
somehow.
And someone's always looking the wrong way.
Yeah.
Well, if you set this in front of the crowd, you can look at your smartphone and
And
make
see
sure
it.
everyone's looking at the right time and then just take the photo. But the key is you have to remember not to look at your smartphone. You have to look at the camera to take the picture. Because I did that initially and I caught myself looking at my smartphone. So a lot of our gadgets, not just with cameras, but it has this NFC technology. So as we're moving,
Sony proprietary technology.
it was developed actually about 20 years ago in Sony, where they used it to tag products in the warehouse, right? But eventually that was it was born from there, and now if you go traveling in Asia, all their subway lines, their tickets, their vending machines. I mean, of course, in
Well, this is
Japan.
like the octopus card.
It is. It's actually, that's
Same
what's,
thing,
it's the
okay.
same thing. That's the Sony developed technology. It's called the Octopus
This
in
is
Singapore,
well
Hong Kong.
perfected now. It's
Yes,
been around
it
a
is.
long time.
Right. Very secure. In fact, I just came back from Japan a week ago, and you just use a card and you can go through the train stations, you can go to the convenience stores and pay with that.
It's all over
very
Asia,
convenient.
too, all
Yeah,
over.
yeah, all
Yeah.
over.
Why don't we have it here, Ted?
It's coming along.
Oh, good.
It is coming along. So
I'd like to see it.
it's just a matter of time. But yeah, they started to, get that
It's an
technology.
amazing device, and, we should have it as soon as possible. So let me ask some questions. Can I touch it?
Sure.
Oh, this is much lighter even.
And let me
Now,
get out of
this will
this
take
mode.
video too?
Yes, it does take video, a high quality XAVCS video quality.
So what, okay, so what would you, what are the dimensions, so to speak?
1080, 60p. So
Okay.
full high definition.
So you could make movies with this too?
You could, yes,
in
definitely.
High definition, essentially.
Right.
And you can put it, you can use the remote on it and do amazing things. No flash, you don't need a flash. You don't
You know
want a
what?
flash? You have some
You know,
flash?
it's funny you mentioned that because
No.
they were able to cram a flash
Let's
in this as well. This is actually the third iteration of the RX 100 series. So we have the RX 100, the RX 100 Mark II, and then this is the latest one, the RX 100 Mark III. So it does have the OLED viewfinder that people wanted, and it still retained the built-in flash.
That's impressive.
It is. It's a very. The New York Times called it the best compact camera.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this size of camera is very functional. You can
It
go
is.
on a trip, put it in your
Pocket
pocket.
friendly, yes.
You know, I mean, that's also very friendly. But
It is.
This you won't even know you're carrying it.
Right.
Really remarkable. And this is the size everybody wants, but this is the greater functionality than the other ones. Huh?
Right, and it has the 1-inch sensor. So it does take great low light pictures. It gives you the really great depth of field and the bokeh. For those of you that don't know about what bokeh means, it's basically the ability to defocus your background so that the subject or your foreground is in focus.
Really sharp.
Yeah, it's really sharp. So it takes great bokeh as well.
So that would be for portraits and the like,
Right, exactly.
or those family shots you were talking
Right,
about. Yeah.
right.
Okay, that's a total winner. I really love this camera.
And then once you can actually pull this thing out a little bit there and look through that OLED viewfinder.
Oh,
And then it does have a diopter adjustment as well.
yeah.
And then once you're done with the camera, just push this back in, push it down,
Neat
and it
package.
shuts it
Oh,
off.
It shuts it off automatically.
right.
Same thing here. This is
Just
manual.
push it back in manually, yeah.
Oh, it's strong.
You can actually deflect it too to have it bounce off the flash.
Oh, you can go
yeah,
up or down.
Yes.
You never find that. That's really unusual.
Yeah, it is. It's very, very
So you can
convenient.
do very creative lighting instead of
Yes.
having the red eye thing.
Exactly.
You know? And it's got the regular controls for all kinds of different
Yes, shutter
settings.
speed, aperture, right.
So this is really a sophisticated
It
camera.
is, it
They
is,
look
but
like a,
it's very user-friendly. A lot of first-time camera buyers will appreciate the auto, controls that it has, but it does have all the separate manual controls that photo enthusiasts enjoy.
okay. Media is what?
Same, SD cards as well as memory stick duo,
Okay.
yeah.
That's the beauty too. Okay. Oh, price.
So that one's $800, $799.99.
And you had built-up models. Better yet,
Oh, this is the top line.
just top of the line.
Yeah, for that
So the other ones
series.
would be less than that.
Yes.
Oh, that's a winner. Okay.
Now, this is this is my last product that I brought to you in regards to digital imaging. This is our basically our waterproof POV point of view camera. I won't mention the competitor's name, but we have a lot of accessories that can go with this. You can mount it on your head, on your helmet. We have a chest mount. We even have a doggy mount that sits on top of the dog's back and it records where you're going and everything. What's great about our design, though, is that you can see how it's slick. This is our latest one. It's called the Action Cam Mini. You can see how small it is right here. By itself, this is splash proof, but then in the casing, it's good for about 15 feet underwater.
That's great. So it's designed for the underwater, but you don't have to use it underwater.
Correct. And it takes micro SD cards or micro memory stick cards, the M2, yeah, the tiny ones. It does have Wi-Fi. This particular bundle comes with the Live View remote watch. So, and this watch actually has the GPS information, the module, and it'll communicate to the camera.
So you need the watch to do remote.
You don't really need to, because you can actually pair it with
You
your
can-
smartphone. Yeah.
Yeah. That, by the way, that's not an iPhone, is it?
No, it's a Sony
That's a-
Xperia phone.
That's a Sony phone.
Yeah, obviously, yes.
Yeah, I'm kidding, John, but that's a nice looking phone.
Yeah, the Xperia line is great. The new Z3 has been getting a lot of attention. It's waterproof. It can record 4K video. It has a 20 megapixel camera. I mean, that is a really top of line
Where can I
flagship
get
phone.
that? Where can I look at that?
So right now, there's 2 carriers that actually carry the Xperia Z. This is actually the older model, so I don't have the Z3 with me. This is the ZL, but Verizon and T-Mobile carry the Z3.
Okay, what's it cost?
It depends on contract, but I think outside of contract, it's about close to about $700, $800.
Okay, what about this now?
So this with the bundle is like $350
With the wrist
with
device?
this wrist, yeah, band.
And that's also waterproof, so you
Correct.
can really do some waterproof shooting with that.
Right. And it can control up to 5 cameras at once. So you can actually pair this remote to 5 of these cameras all at once, and you can actually see, you can record them all at once, at the same
Very,
time.
very sophisticated. So, how much time of video can I get on one of these chips?
So basically, it really depends on the size of the memory card and the quality of the video, because you can go full 1080, or you can drop it down to like 720p mode. So it really depends. You can get an hour's worth of maybe
That's pretty good.
8 gig card or something like that, right?
So, with
Depending on the resolution.
the battery and the card give you an hour. Anyway.
Yeah, almost this tiny battery actually can give you about almost an hour's worth, right? Life. Has a Carl Zeiss lens. It does have microphones built in, 2 mics. It does have an image stabilization as well, something that the competition doesn't have.
So what market is this intended to serve? I mean, of course, the underwater market.
Oh, but
and the
also
sports
POV,
market.
POV, point of view. So people who just like to record what they're doing, whether it's sports, whether it's just cooking or whatever, you can just record as you're cooking along, you know, just various applications.
Now, when you have the Wi-Fi, and that's in all these cameras, when you
Right.
have the Wi-Fi, it means you can control the camera with the
Correct.
Wi-Fi device.
Right.
But is it also, I guess it is it also capable of recording it on the Wi-Fi device?
Yes, so you can actually, when you have it connected to a smartphone and you take stills or shots, it actually will save a copy onto the smartphone's memory
So you
as
get
well.
backup.
Right,
reception.
and this particular model, you can actually you stream live as well through your smartphone.
And I can connect a mic, another mic, an outside mic?
This particular model, no, you cannot. We have another model that's slightly bigger that does have a mic and
You can
headphones.
make
Yeah.
serious movies with this.
Yes, you could.
And you can make them in any circumstance at all.
Right.
You know?
Correct.
Okay, right, wow, getting excited. All of these are lovely, really. I mean, to me, all of them are, I want them. What else you got?
So let's move into the audio, personal audio space. So about a.
Oh,
almost-
tell us about the higher res audio quality. What is
Sure.
that?
So for the last, let's say, 10 years or so, the convenience of the internet as well as MP3 file formats have really made audio listening convenient, but not so much in terms of quality. Now we have an industry push, both from artists as well as from companies like Sony, that are pushing high-res audio. So what high-res audio is basically anything that's better than CD quality. So you're talking about like 96 kilohertz, 24 bits, that pushes that higher res range of audio listening. And the reason why we wanted to do that was to bring out the slight nuances that when it was recorded, you know, the breathing, the melodies, they kind of just linger on just a little bit longer.
The sound of that string vibrating
Right.
after the note.
And you know, it's amazing when we do demonstrations with high-res audio. Like I have our Walkman player, the NWZ A17. It supports high-res audio, and I also have these headphones that support high-res audio. When you match the two together, people feel as if they're transported to like a concert where that person or the artist is actually singing right in front of your eyes. It's that crystal clear. The range and the subtle nuances that you are listening to is just unmatched. If you were to just listen to an MP3 and switch it over to a high-res audio format, it's like night and day. And that's the best thing about the high-res audio movement. And Sony has been a big promoter of this. So we have it in our Walkmans, our stereo systems, our headphones. It's just an amazing experience.
So you have to have a different kind of microphone for it? Different kind of processor? What do you need that's
So
different?
basically, yes, you're talking about some new technologies that will actually take regular MP3 formats and actually upscale it to near high-res audio quality. You need certain elements in the headphones that will actually support the bigger range of audio. So it's just not something that, you know, you can take something, you know, from a few years back and play back high-res audio. Because high-res audio is going to be a lot heavier. The format is heavier. You have FLAC, you have AIFF, you have different file formats. And that needs to be supported by the device itself. So luckily we have a Walkman that supports it as well.
Is it processed? I mean, are there filters operating here, compressions, or is it just the pure sound?
It's basically pure sound. So if you have native high-res audio, you're going through it. It's basically what it does is when you're switching from analog to digital, and let's say you have the sine wave, right? And what originally what digital would do was just take chunks of the curve and then shrink it down and basically give you an MP3 format. What high-res audio does, because they chop it in finite like sections, they are able to record every single curve of that sine wave more closely, more accurately, so that when it replicates to your headphones, you're getting basically what the original source was, you know, and how it was intended.
This kind of narrows the gap. My observation has been that we've seen great video, the graphic video. I mean, and the cameras are spectacular. But the audio is really important because the audio gives you the message, and it actually has a more emotional effect on you sometimes.
It does. It does.
And so we you know, this is sort of catching up and closing the gap between the advancements in video and the older models of audio.
It's interesting that you said, you know, about being, you know, moved by all this, and Sony's tagline is "be moved." In Japanese, the word is kondo, okay? And if you take that word kondo, it literally translates to like being emotionally moved, you know, whether it's, you know, listening to something, watching a movie, or playing games, you know, you're emotionally attached to it and you're moved by that experience. And that's what Sony is trying to do, is going back to the end user and making them feel that excitement, you know, that Sony did bring back many years ago. And we're bringing that back into the consumer space.
Great step forward.
Yeah.
And this is a digital recorder.
Yes. So basically, no, it doesn't record digitally. It doesn't have like a built-in microphone, but you would transfer stuff, or it does have a micro SD card slot, so
Okay.
you can actually transfer onto there as well.
You play off this.
Yes, it's a player. It's a music
Okay,
player. Yeah.
And it plays by, what's that, a special kind of, oh, I see, a regular output, regular
headphone
output.
jack, right.
Okay, and the headset is also high-res?
It is.
Audio?
It's
How
actually,
does that receive the sound?
so it comes with a cable cord, but it also is Bluetooth. And it also does hands-free. So if you have it connected to your smartphone, you can actually answer through your headphones.
Okay.
But when you're playing back Bluetooth, or when you have it connected via Bluetooth, it doesn't have that high-res quality. So in order to take advantage of that, you need to plug it in using the cord to the device.
And these take legacy MP3 and all that.
Oh, definitely, yes, yes.
So it doesn't matter what you
And
have.
the engine built inside that will actually upscale the MP3s. Yeah, it's called DSEE-HX, and that's like our Sony's technology to revitalize all those
Right.
lost bits and pieces and make it so it's high res.
Okay, the best it can,
Yes.
even out of an MP3.
Right, correct.
So I think I failed to ask you the price of the small camera. Can you tell us what that is?
Yeah, so this is basically a bundle that we have. It's about $350.
Oh, you mentioned that,
Yeah.
okay. And let's see, and then the sound stuff?
Okay, so this music player is $299. It does come with 64 gigabytes of internal memory, but it does have that micro SD card slot, so you can actually go up to close to 200 gigs on this device.
I'll keep you busy.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
It would. And then we have these $199 Bluetooth headphones, MDR10RBT Bluetooth headphones, and it supports high-res audio as well as the Bluetooth protocols. It can last about 17 hours on a charge.
Okay. And did I get the price on that?
$199.
$199.
Yeah.
No, okay, you have other stuff?
So this is our another.
Real quick, we only have a minute left.
Okay, this is a Walkman music player, and it's waterproof. So it's made for active users like swimmers, joggers, runners. It has 4 gigs of internal memory, but it also has Bluetooth capability, so you can actually pair it with your smartphone. It does have a microphone, so you can actually do hands-free calling on it as well. And it comes with this remote, this wireless remote, so as you're jogging, you can switch tracks, increase the volume. Yeah, it's very convenient.
Apple has nothing on you. Al, Ted, this is lovely stuff. This is
It
great.
is. It's
All
a
of
lot
them
of
are
fun.
great Christmas presents. They're all available. I mean, how can I get them? Where are they located on a retail basis?
So, you know, there's a number of stores here on the island that does offer some of these products. We also have our online store as well. So, you know, Best Buy also has, supports Sony. You should check out their our 4K demonstration area. They've got our 4K TVs, a nice display in both Best Buy stores here. The Action Cam, Macaulay Bicycle actually is one of our
really?
local
Sure,
stores.
it's a sports thing, yeah.
That supports our Action Cam. So you'll find that there as well.
Well, I'll say what I say to you every time we meet at Christmas season. I always say the same thing, and it isn't necessarily Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas is kind of implied. What I say is, you know, it's okay if you leave all this here. I always say that to him.
We'll see. Maybe one of these days.
It's Tedric Abe, Sales Account Manager and Product Trainer at Sony Hawaii. This is ThinkTech Talks, Holiday Products at Sony. Thank you so much, Ted.
Thank you very much.
Aloha.
Aloha.